Hi guys, back again. Um, this is the final little update I'm putting out on this one. This little coffee break moment, which turned into a bit more of a coffee break, an extended coffee break, really, to be precise. But I've just added a couple more finishing things on this just for now, and I'm going to part this project, and I'll come back to it at a future date. So I've got some flags fluttering in the window now, and I've got an additional character down the bottom end of the screen there. We've got like this monk character. I thought we'd probably put in there. So um, yeah, so we're like there's four main characters now. Um, what will happen? Whether it'll be like a Bruce Lee game or it'll be just a fighting game in the end, I have no idea. It's one for the future. Like I say, I'm gonna park it. I got some obviously some uh, handsy lettering on these like flags or whatever you want to call them, drapes. Um, so that looks okay. Hopefully, those who speak and read Chinese can make that out. I won't tell you what it means. I'll let you work it out, and you can put in the comments if you worked it out. And it's nothing rude or anything like that. Nothing vulgar. It's relevant to the actual setting. So work that out. Um, so the only other thing is you might notice a little like on here is like a little sparkle, little ripple type effect, similar to what IK Plus did. Eventually, that would be multiplied up, so there'd be multiple ones of them going on. That's just one sprite at the moment, just doing a round. And these static ones would probably they disappear, and they'd be replaced with like the sprite ones. Because I've got now, there's more than 8 sprites on screen. There's 8 just in the bottom section alone. So there's one in the middle section which would become maybe 4, 5. I don't know. And then there's obviously you got the birds and the cloud moving. So I would imagine that the other two clouds would shift and go behind the mountains or something like that. And then birds would fly probably as a random effect, but it's just like alternating levels as well. But whether there's anything goes on with these trees moving or anything like that, just add a bit more in. I don't know. It's just nothing to do with the game, but it's just those little touches that people put in, isn't it? That's that. So yeah, so this is where probably going to park it. There's been a lot of stupid nonsense about skin colours of characters and stuff, and what they should be, and why they chosen this and that and all that. It's like 64 palettes, like limited to 16 colours for crying out loud, you know. So you haven't really got that much of a choice, but it shouldn't really cause so much of a debate. It's just it's just got to the point where it was just beginning to do my head in, really, the whole thing about it. So people just need to just cut it out, really. Social media, it just goes absolutely nuts. It's just there's no need, really. That's the only downside to what has been mostly the positive comments on this whole thing. People saying this character doesn't look like what I expected. It's just a mock up. You know, nothing's finished, nothing's definite. It might not even be a game. You know, from this, it's but people whining like things like that would just put me off anyway from doing anything with it. But yeah, so just that's just my 2 penny on that. So if you're going on about skin tone, colours, and all this lot, why we got a green sumo? Well, the original had a green sumo guy, so you know it's just based on that. You ever seen flaming Green Lantern and all these fantasy things like these comic book characters and stuff? Just think of it like that. I don't know. I didn't come up with the idea. It's just something I've just based it on, haven't I? So you know. But adding the like the monk character, I thought that was possibly a good idea. Um, whether the monk would be an antagonist or the protagonist, you never know. It could be based around any of those 3 or 4 characters, really. Maybe if it's a fighting game, you would choose a character to fight against. I don't know. It could be anything. It could turn into like Slam Siblings or whatever, couldn't it? Something like that. Anything. you know. Exploding Fist, IK Plus, or it could be a flick screen platform game with elements of that. I don't know, but it's for a future date now anyway because I'm going to park it. I'll say I get a bit fed up with all the nonsense that was going on social media. So yeah, it's for a future project. I'll park it for, I don't know, could be 12 months, maybe a year, 2 years. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. But I've got a basis for things anyway in terms of character design, ideas. Quite pleased with things like the Ember routines and stuff like that, and the lettering. To get that into try and get that into like limited characters is really difficult, really tricky. But yeah, it's come out pretty much okay, for those who actually understand it and can read it. So it's as close as you can probably going to get on a Commodore 64. The resolution just isn't there to get anything better really. So whether I do any more detailing on the top of this temple or not, it might be. I did come up with the idea of having the score as well in again in Hanzi, but using proper Chinese lettering as an option maybe, so you could switch between. So I've done the entire like 0 to 9. So that's there. That could be switched in at some point. This was just like a power meter and just energy type things for 2 players or something. Because you could just have a 2-player game in the end. Get your friends around, have a beat 'em up session or something. Could be, who knows? And I thought I'd just colour these flags just to, as somebody on social media just pointed out. They just like to see flags in different colours, so that's what I've done. But yeah, and I've made these like little, well, not gargoyles as such, but you know, they sort of look like a bit dragon-esque or something sinister coming out of the end of this temple there. So there's 4 of them. They could be dragon-esque, so they could be like mouths of a dragon or something, with a little tooth and stuff, so it look quite vicious, whatever they are. But yeah, it's just ideas. That's what you do. You just sling a few ideas around in your head and just put them on there. But yeah, so that's really it. And that is it. And that's all I'm going to do for the time being. But again, it's open to the 64 public really. If anyone wants another game sort of like in this vein, whether it be a beat 'em up or a platform game based on something like Bruce Lee, then you know, put it in the comments, let me know, and it might encourage me to come back to it at some point. But yeah, negative comments about skin tones and all that, that's just good. Yeah, well, forget all that. I can't be bothered if people are going to be like that, and people saying, but there are already sequels. There's Bruce Lee 2 and Return of Fury. Yeah, they're sort of homebrew sequels, but they're not remakes, and that's what I was emphasising, a remake, because a remake is a completely new look, it's completely new code, sound, music, everything. When you remake, Bruce Lee 2 and Return of Fury have been very well done to make them look like the original game, and they look like just an official sequel, but they're not. But yeah, so there's a difference between a remake and like homebrew fan sequel, so which I consider those 2 games to be fan sequels. But yeah, so anyway, this would be all new, but where it would go, I don't know. It's like I say, it's now parked to return at some future point, maybe. Who knows? Okay, there we go. So I'll see you in another video, guys. Thanks a lot. Bye now.